Welcome to I'm Mosheh. I'm Egunniyi Edwards, your host. Um, Intro was playing my sister Dawn Edwards Kellum uh, with her album "There All the Time." The name of that song is "I Surrender." Um, so last time we left off in chapter 13, Genesis 13. Um, Next, we'll be going into 14. Um, I wanted to start. Today is my father's Orun. It says heavenly return. Um, so after our ancestors pass on, um, those who lived well and lived strong lives, clean lives, they have the capacity to interact with us and uh, support us in this life and communicate with us as well. So um, around the time of their births, their energy returns and supports and engages with their children, their descendants, and um, we use this time to offer and give thanks for the sacrifices that they made. For my father, many sacrifices, many um, trips to seemingly hopeless situations, to pray for people, to heal people, to support people, to bail people out. All of those things, everything under the sun, to make sure that he's doing uh, the Lord's work according to his perspective, doing the Lord's work and making sure that he's uplifting the name of Jesus and uplifting um, that way of life, the Christian way of life, the Christian pathway, by being an example to others and being an example to us all, those who are his own his children. So today we offer and give thanks to him for his life, for his sacrifice, for all the lessons that he taught us, for the communication um, that he taught us to have a relationship with the Most High and have that personal relationship so that we can um, reach out and communicate when things are difficult, when things are challenging, or when things are going well, and we just want to pay homage. We want to give thanks for where we are, how far we've come, and the way that is going to be clear in the future. But you know, um, no time matters like the present. You know, this is the most important time is in the moment, in the moment, in the moment, in the moment. Continually staying in the moment and being present is really a blessing, and it allows us to be blessed and to be grateful for life. Um, but I did want to make that note um, right now before we open up. But we'll open in prayer at this time. Give thanks to Creator Olodumare. We give thanks to the Creator of all things for opening up the way and giving us another opportunity to come together um, to gather, to study, to train, to study, to show ourselves approved, and continue to push forward and continue to dig deeper for the truth. The truth will make us free, and that's why we pursue what we pursue, and that's why I'm answering the call uh, of the command that has been given to me by the Creator. And I ask that our ancestors, our Egungun, continue to guide me into the truth and continue to reveal the truth to us as we venture forward, as we journey forward, um, to uncover the hidden messages contained within the scriptures and the true stories um, and the true revelations that exist there, so that we're not misled by the wicked, so that we're not fallen um, into leaning to our own understanding, so that we have the capacity, the knowledge, the wherewithal to defend ourselves, our families, spiritually, and learn more about the foundation that we've been given in Christianity. Um, Many people want to throw it out. Many people want to discard it. Um, but there's a lesson and there's a message that's there for us. And I ask that we're able to have eyes to see, have ears to hear, and have a mouth to speak the truth. These things we say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right. Any additional questions, just put them in the chat. Um, and we'll get to them, either get to them with, should be able to get to everything live. There we go. Bear with me. I'll get everything shifted and moved around where I want it. There we go. All right. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar. Um, I'm not going to do the expanded right now. I'm just going to read straight through. Unless we get to something that's important, then I'll do the expanded. But and it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Ariat, king of Elisar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemaber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zor. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. Vale is similar to valley, I believe, or the Presnier Valley, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Laomer. And in the 13th century, they rebelled. And in the 14th year, oh, sorry, the 13th year, they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Shedor Laomer. Let's see what the actual pronunciation is. Yeah, Kedor Laomer. Kedor Laomer. Kedor Laomer. Kedor Laomer. Okay, Kedor Laomer. And the kings that were with him, um, and smote the Rephaims and Ashtaroth Karnaim. Ashtaroth, of course, we know is a deity, um, and the Zuzims and Ham, and the Imims and Shava Kiriataim, and the Horites in their mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazez on Tamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same as Zoar, and they joined together with them in the vale of Siddim, with Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Ariel, king of Elisar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits. Slime pits is bitumen pits, so it's fire pits, basically. It's bitumen with thick oil, like a tar sands, they call it as well. But it's called bitumen. Um, but it's very gummy and thick, but it is flammable. And the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods and departed. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram in allegiance, gang, basically. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with them at the valley of Shavit, which is the king's dale. Um, I think that's just an open plain, almost similar to a prairie. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God, Melchizedek. Um, and he blessed him. Let's see if that is actually translated to something else. Yeah, Shalom, 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 Jerusalem, an early name for Jerusalem, Shalem, Shalem. And Melchizedek, king of Shalem, brought forth bread and wine. He was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom, I have uplifted my hand unto the Lord. Oh, sorry. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods thyself to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth. And again, Lord is Jehovah or Yehovah, and God is Elohim, a group of gods or a group of spirits that represent God in the scriptures, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. You don't want him to take credit for what God has done. Save only that which the young men have eaten, and a portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. Okay, so we reread 14 because I think we read 14 last time. All right. All right. God's covenant with Abram. Genesis chapter 15. After these things, the word of the Lord, Jehovah, came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not. Let me see over here. Yeah, let's read it. Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. Bowels. It's interesting that they use the word bowels. Mayo, to be soft. It's only a plural for the intestines, abdomen. Oh, okay. By extension, the stomach, the uterus, the heart, the womb, the belly. So out of the bowels. So stand out of his belly or out of his, well, saying womb, but that would make sense for me. But, and he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? He said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. What pieces? And the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. Okay, so that's telling them how far his reach and expanse of his lineage, his bloodline will reach. Um, now, Sarai, but it's pronounced Sarai. Sarai, yeah, Sarai. Now, Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord, Jehovah, hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid. Is that pronounced right? Hagar? Is that Hagar? Oh, Hagar. Hagar. Interesting. And mhm, Hagar. And gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife, biblically speaking, wife. And Abram had dwelt 10 years, okay, maybe 10 children for her. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. And he went, and he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee. Okay, it's not saying that she despised her. Who's doing the despising? Bring into contempt. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress, Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hand. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel, that means it will be uncountable. The descendants will be uncountable. That's what it means. Will not be numbered for multitude, meaning you won't be able to define how much it is, how many descendants that will come out of Hagar. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that saith me? Wherefore the well was called Bir Lahor Roi, Bir La Bir Lahor Roi. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. See if that means anything. So many angels appear around water. It's interesting. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare Ishmael. And Abram was 86 old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. When Abram was 90 years old and 99 years old, the Lord Yehovah appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. I am the Almighty Elohim. Mhm. Oh, okay. They switched it up. Here it's not Elohim, it's El, another deity. El. E. That's good. We can go back and check and see how long it's been saying El. We assumed it was saying Elohim throughout the last couple of chapters. And when Abram was 99 years old, um, I'm assuming that it means Lord as well. Okay, Lord. Okay, that's still the same. Yehovah. And Yehovah appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty El. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and El talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, and their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. Let's see what chapter. Between me and thee, God unto thee. Then we'll go back to Elohim. Back to Elohim. Mm-hmm. Will be a God, or Elohim, unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, and I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee, and their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall be circumcised. Ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house or brought with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed, he that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. My covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name by Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. Okay. He that is born in the house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. He that is born in the house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. My covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broke my covenant. God said unto Abraham, as for thy wife Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but shalt call her name, but Sarah shall her name be. That's what we so, so, sorrow, 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 hogro, 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 and sorrow, sorrow. So Sarai to sorrow. Okay. And I will bless her, give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abram fell upon his face and laughed, and shall said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. And God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed thee, make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. For my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at the set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him. And God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael, his son. And Abraham took Ishmael, his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin the selfsame day, as God had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old, and 99 years old, when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old. He was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael, his son. And all the men of his house born in the house, bought with money of the stranger, circumcised with him. Mhm, mhm. Okay. And the Lord, Jehovah, appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, rest yourselves under the tree, and I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do as thou hast said. I want to do what you said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the earth. Unleavened bread, cakes. That's what it's saying. Unleavened bread, similar to tortillas. And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man. He has hasted to dress it. He took butter and milk and the calf, which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah, thy wife? He said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. I mean, she was no longer having a cycle. She was already born there, and she is now going through the change of life, going through menopause. Therefore, Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child, which am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord Jehovah? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. And Sarah denied, saying, I laugh not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. I know you did laugh. Pump fake me. And the men rose up from thence and looked towards Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord, Jehovah, to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. Okay. And the Lord, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know. And men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And saying the men, but it's presented as if these are angels. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure, there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy, not wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do this, to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked? That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? So Adam was greeted by angels of death, going to be sent to exact justice and destroy the city of Sodom because their sin was grievous and was a stench up to the Lord Jehovah, essentially. The Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. It's the nature of a man, just but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 45, I will not destroy it. He spake unto him yet again, negotiating on behalf of his nephew Lot. He said unto him, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak peradventure there shall be 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it. And if I find 30 there, if I find 30 there. And he said, behold, now I've taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. He said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. He said, oh, let not the Lord be angry. And I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And then the Lord went his way. As soon as he left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. Okay. All right. I was saying God rescued Lot. This is also um, the sermon I preached entitled Don't Look Back. Um, but I did not focus on chapter 18, I just focused on chapter 19. And that kind of didn't put in enough context in terms of everything. But the point was to not look back and not hesitate, not to move, because where the head goes, the body follows. So the man who was supposed to be directing everyone and is supposed to be the righteous one that is walking in faith with God turns around to look back to see what's going on back there. The head has changed direction, the body is going to follow. And he's putting the body in harm's way because the head was too curious and not disciplined enough to follow the instruction of the Most High. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, or at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. He prostrated before them out of respect. And he said, behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet. And you shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. They're going to hang in the streets all night in a wicked city where anything goes. YOLO. You only live once. Live any kind of way, it doesn't matter. Do as thou wilt. That's this environment. He pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered into his house. And he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them, biblically know them. And Lot went out at the door to them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters, which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. They said, Stand back. They said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the man said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son in law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city? Bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons in law, which married his daughters, and said, Get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons in law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. All right, again, root problem, root cause. Get down to the root cause instead of addressing the symptom. And while he lingered, men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters. And the Lord, Yehovah, being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and set him out the city, outside of the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me. And he dies. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one that my soul shall live? And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow the city for which thou hast spoken. Hasten thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou become thither. Until you go, I can't do anything. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone, fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew on the ground burned everything, including that which grew on the ground. Clean slate. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain, and all the inhabitants. Yeah, those cities and that which grew on. But his wife looked back from behind him. She became a pillar of salt. Such a simple sentence, but there's so much there. She looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning, the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah. Um, and he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah, and so a word of all the land of the plain beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. When he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. Lot and his daughters, and Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his two daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. And see, this is the thing. That's what they told him to go first, was to go into the mountain, to a cave. And he went into an alternate city. He was negotiating. But then suddenly, because he stayed so close, instead of going up into the mountain, to the cave, if he would have went up into the cave, maybe his wife would not have looked back. But him going to Zoar allowed her to look back to see the destruction that fell upon Sodom and Gomorrah. So his disobedience again, here, his disobedience and trying to negotiate with the angels, or the men as they call them, trying to negotiate instead of just being obedient and going and doing what he was supposed to do. He went and negotiated to go to another city, and he was supposed to go up into the cave. If he would have gone up into the cave, been disciplined and obedient from the beginning, maybe Sister Lot would not have looked back. So again, this is another example of a man being disobedient, not following the word, and not following instruction thoroughly. And because of that, modifying the order and negotiating instead of just doing and following. Now his wife is lost, and now he's led to a different layer of corruption that we're about to get into now with his two daughters. And Lot went up out of Zoar, because remember, the sons-in-laws mocked him, basically saying like, yeah, you pump faking. I'm not going to leave this city just for your daughters. And it's odd because he said that his daughters didn't know any men, but they had husbands. So I think it was just pump faking the attackers. Um, and Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his two daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. The firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old. There is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth, because they saw everything had burned down. So they thought all men no longer existed. Come, let us make our father drink wine. We will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father. He perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow, the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesterday with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. But thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger she also bare a son, and called his name Benjamin. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So that is definitely going to have to be decoded, because this does not read like a regular typical tale. This reads like something that was translated by Greeks, who will have this type of signature in their stories relative to deities, and how they produce with their own offspring. Since they're not human beings, I'm assuming because their genetic code is different, it may not interact the same. I don't know. But that's another story that needs to be deciphered. So we get the original version as opposed to this adulterated version. Apologies. And Abraham journeyed from thence. It's chapter 20. This will be our final chapter for this evening. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarai, his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man. For the woman thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, She is my sister. And she, even she herself, said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, now thou surely shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. I don't know why they use thou like that. That didn't make sense because the rest of scriptures are not even structured that way. We'll put thou in there like this. In other places, it uses you to communicate with the subject, but it's thou, this, thither, thou is. It's like a different writer. Therefore, Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? What have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. So he's saying that I lied, but I didn't really lie. I told you the truth, but not the whole truth. So that's his half sister. That's not actually his sister. That's his half sister. And it's the daughter of his mother, not his father. So I guess it doesn't count. They don't count the mother's children, which of course could be by another man from another nation. So essentially. And it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness, which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, save me. He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee. Dwell where it pleaseth thee. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes unto all that are with thee. And with all other, thus she was reproved, corrected. So Abraham prayed unto God. God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. So she was a walking, talking curse. And this is not the first time that he used Sarah to corrupt a king of another land. So next time, we're going to go into the birth of Isaac. which was already promised previously. And we can say we have faith if something takes a few days, or a few months to manifest. But when it takes years to manifest and something is promised to you, but it's promised to you in a specific amount of time, then you have to wait. You have to tarry. What's called tarry. You have to wait until the appointed time for everything to come to pass. And that's where that level of patience um, is something that needs to be worked towards. It's not an easy thing to do because anticipation builds and grows. And we want everything right now. We want everything right now as human beings. And the fact of the matter is that everything takes a process. Wealth building takes a process. Um, Giving birth, conception takes a process. It's not something that we just snap our fingers and do. And a lot of these things are out of our actual control because it's up to the Most High to breathe life into a baby to make sure that the pregnancy goes full term. These are things that are not promised, and because they're not promised, we can get distracted, we can get sidetracked, and believe that um, we can get sidetracked and believe that um, because it hasn't manifested yet, it may never manifest, or it's not possible. Doubt creeps in, things of that nature. Um, but we have to be steadfast. We have to be disciplined. We have to be consistent because everything that's promised does not immediately arrive. Even though the root problem, root cause, may be severed completely, entirely. Um, Especially in the case of things like addiction or, you know, spiritual bondage. Those chains can be cut. Those ties can be severed immediately. However, it may make it may take some time for us to recognize it, for us to feel that we are actually free, and for us to move as if we're free and move according to our purpose. Because when we are operating in a state of faith, stepping stones, it's building blocks. It takes us to a position, it takes us to a place, it takes us to a waypoint. And I have an assignment that I've prepared um, discussing waypoints and the measure of faith that it takes to go from one to the next, and the purpose and point of them, and how to navigate using them. Spiritual navigation using our spiritual compass. And I'll be presenting this soon, but um, yeah, that's the gist of it. Is spiritual understanding and spiritually being spiritually connected, because that's what guides us from one point to the next and calls us forward to the next point and position so that we can find our way and so that we can guide and assist others to finding their way. Um, and so that in the future, our footsteps can be a guide to our ascendants and show them a way, show them the pathway of righteousness, the way that our ancestors and the holy prophets and the priests of the past have done, leaving a record, leaving a legacy, leaving breadcrumbs. But the breadcrumbs are not the whole of the meal. They're not the whole of the journey. They're not the whole of the testimony. We have to find the rest. Seeking you shall find. You know, that's what we have to do. We have to find the rest. So we'll continue. We'll pick back up on Genesis chapter 21 next time. Okay, let's close in prayer. Give thanks to the Most High, Creator of all things, the Creator of the heavens and the earths, of the many worlds that exist, of the many people that exist, of the many paths that exist. We give thanks for our presence in this life, in this time, in this space, at this moment. We give thanks for your presence within us, your presence around us, your presence that moves through us and calls us to our higher purpose. We ask that you cover us and protect us so that we can do it again, so that we can meet again, so that we can wake up tomorrow and have another opportunity to learn, another opportunity to be more disciplined, and another opportunity to study, to show ourselves approved. My name is Egunniyi Edwards, and I am Awo Egunniyi.